Hi guys, this is Spartan765. Today I'm going to do a video on the part that looks extremely complicated and impossible to take apart. That is a Swiss K31 trigger group. To keep your Swiss K31 accurate and running well, naturally you have to take apart the trigger group every once in a while to maintain it, lube it, and get the dust, dirt, and grease and crap out of there. It looks like an extremely complicated part to take apart. It looks like it's going to blow apart if you take the spring off. It's not going to. I'm going to do a video today on how to disassemble it and how to reassemble it. It's fairly simple. The only part is the spring's a pain in the butt to put. Well, not really. It's kind of a pain in the butt to put back in at the end, but it's not anything that would stop someone from doing it because it will go back in. First step is lift this part of the trigger spring up, let it loose. Okay? Then, okay, as you can see, the main trigger group, the shear, and this little cam or whatever it is falls down like that. Then you need to make sure that right where the shear or the sear comes up to the receiver, make sure that's clear of the receiver, and make sure the double trigger mechanism is clear. Then you kind of got to like lift up on it a little bit and kind of jiggle it around. Move this out of the way, and then it'll just come out. See, it just lifts right up like that. Just kind of move that out of the way. There. It's out. Okay, now the only thing I don't like about this is you can't take these pins out. These pins are what do you call it? Just hammered, mushroomed over. It's not really that big of a deal. Just give it a solvent bath or anything and get anything out of there. But I mean, it's pretty good. It's a really good trigger. The little pins, it's not that big of a deal, but you don't want to try to knock the pins out because they're mushroomed over. You will wreck your trigger group if you try to do that. And I can guarantee you, you're not going to be able to find a Swiss K31 trigger group very easily on the internet. And if you do it, they're going to be expensive. Probably it'd be cheaper to buy a new rifle if you break your trigger group. Okay, the next step. Okay, here's trigger group. Set that right there. Okay, now the next part is removing the spring. The spring, I recommend you have preferably like a spring-loaded needle nose pliers. Now there's a piece of the spring right here. This is the part that's actually made for taking the spring on and off. I don't know the technical name for it, but I just know how to take it apart. Now this may block the camera view a little bit, but you just need to twist it clockwise and then just pull up on it like that, and it will just come right out like that. And it will look like it just pops out. No big deal. Pretty good. Pretty easy to take out. Pretty good part. And then the next thing to do, there is one more part, and that is the extractor. The extractor very easily just slides right on out. Not the extractor, the ejector. The ejector just slides right out. When you got this apart, I'd give it a solvent bath or just dump some solvent on it, clean it out with some Q-tips and stuff, just Q-tips, rags, cloths, whatever. You know, you want to keep that area clean and the trigger group. Okay, now to put it back together, put the extractor back in. Make sure the pointy part of the extractor is facing forward. The part that actually comes in contact with the shell is facing forward. Slide that up all the way. Now here's the part that can be kind of a pain. The trigger, you got to get this part of the non-bent over part of the spring under the extractor right here like this, see? Just get it under there like that. Because it fits right under the extractor, like it fits right under the extractor and holds the extractor up. Because the extractor moves when you move the bolt in and out, you know. It goes down or it goes up. That's why it's spring loaded. So it gets out of the way of the bolt when the bolt moves. It will, if you're new at this, or if your hands are oily, kind of like mine, because I've been working on guns, it slips all the time. And then just bend it back the same way you took it out. It may take a little bit of maneuvering, but really, once you get that last piece in there, it's not that hard. drop the camera. Okay, I know you guys probably can't see this, but it just takes a lot of maneuvering to get this spring in here. I'm holding it where it's about halfway in. You just got to take your pliers and kind of tinker with it a little bit. Don't worry, you're not going to wreck your spring. If I would wreck the spring is another expensive piece. And it just pops right into place. There's the notch in there. There, your spring's in. Okay, now, to put the trigger group, put your trigger group back in, right here. Just put it in just like you took it out. Move this little cam thing right here. I don't know the technical name for it, because there's not really any of these in any other types of guns. Make sure the cam part is in that little, there's a little pin sticking up. Just slide it right on in there like that. Now, and just push the trigger back up, like so. Take the trigger spring or the main spring, just bend it right on back over like this here. My hands are a little oily, sorry it slipped. Okay. Perform a function check. Should function clearly, easily. Give the ejector a function check. The ejector should move down freely. And some people are wondering why their bolts are moving rough or hard, like they're not bolting easily as they should. One cause of that would be the ejector, because if the ejector slide or rail is all full of gunk and crap and dirt, naturally it's not gonna be able to push this down as easy when it wants the bolt to move. So that's would affect it and get in the way, cause problems, make your bolt move slower. Other than that, there's a fully assembled Swiss K31 trigger group. Any other questions, comments about the Swiss K31? I can make a vid for you. I have a Swiss K31 bolt takedown vid in my video library. Just I suppose for shits and giggles here. I know I'm gonna get asked this eventually anyway. How to disassemble the Swiss K31 magazine. Because you want to be cautious about this, because mags cost about 70 bucks a piece. Well, not really. Okay, all you got to do to disassemble a Swiss K, well, this pin here, the takedown latch, that's mushroomed into. You're not going to be able to get that out. How to take apart the magazine? Simply push forward on the magazine follower, and just push. It'll pop right out like that. There you go. Remove the spring from the follower. You can't do that because it's riveted on there. But that's not really a big deal because you wouldn't really need to remove that. To reinstall, do it the same way. Remember, some force may be required. You don't want to bend the mag fingers, obviously, but putting it back in, you need to push it a little harder than you would if you need to take it out. A magazine on a Swiss K31 is an important part to keep maintained. Swiss K31s at this present time are not, well, certain Swiss K31s are, certain aren't, but the majority of Swiss K31s out there are not highly praised collector's items. Well, they're praised and highly wanted, but I mean they're not rare collector's items. Like, if you can pick one up at a store for 250 bucks, it's not a, rare gun. So if your Swiss K31 is, the bluing, it has like 30% bluing. I would highly recommend rebluing it. I reblued mine. Mine's just it's a 1938 or something, or 19 something production model. It's nothing. Hang on, let me check the tang date. No, 1957. 1957 production. It's not anything special. It's a special Swiss K31. So rebluing them is a good thing to do. I reblued the barrel on mine here, as you can see. Reblued everything. It came out pretty nice. Rebluing a Swiss K31, especially if you're going to take it hunting, which I plan to. Great thing to do. Got any comments, questions, or concerns about disassembly of the actual rifle itself or anything like that, feel free to send me a message. And I will be happy to answer your questions or make a video on it. Spartan 7650.